Hey YouTube, welcome to another Centaur video. This one is focused on building another prop for the character. I'll be making a quiver for the arrows. Somebody pointed out to me that if this character was going to be using a bow and arrow, she should probably have a quiver, which makes sense. So here I'm adding the band that goes around her body to hold the quiver. I'm just using planes and shrink wrap modifier to trace the band around her body. And then I also add a mirror modifier, so I only have to do her right side and it'll copy to the left. So I just kind of trace a loop around her body, and then I scale it up a little and add another modifier to give it some thickness. Alright, that looks pretty good for now. And now to make the quiver itself, I just use a circle and go into edit mode and extrude the circle as long as I want the quiver to be. And then selecting the end loops there, I can scale them to make the shape vary a little bit. Now here I parent all of the extra arrows to the quiver, so if the quiver moves, all the arrows go with it. And then I add a thickness to the quiver as well, using the same modifier that we did for the band. Alright, now I place the quiver into about the right spot. And the only thing now, modeling wise, is to add the straps that connect the quiver itself to the band on her body. So for that I'm using a path. Path is convenient for modeling because you can extrude the points to make it longer, and it's easy to push and pull the points and visualize what the rope will look like afterward. So here I kind of traced the shape in, and now I'm just making it look like it fits more properly. So right now this is just a thin path that doesn't have any section to it. So I tried to add a circle to define the section, and that was giving me some wonkiness, as you can see. So I just gave it a circular section with some thickness in the settings instead of using an object. And I had a little seam that I didn't like, so I ended up just hiding that behind the band, which you can see there. Now just positioning the rope so it ties a little more tightly around the quiver. And then I thought about adding a second one just to make it more interesting, but I couldn't make it look cool right away, so I just took it out. Alright, now the first thing I noticed is while her body moves, the strap doesn't adjust. So I parent the strap to her body, and then I parent the quiver to the strap. And then I did a little bit of fine-tuning just to make sure that the strap doesn't clip into her body. Right there you can see it's still clipping. So I added some extra size and thickness to the band. Alright, yep, keep trying and trying. Then I made it a little thicker. Moved it down slightly, and that was getting a lot closer. So I added another line of geometry into the strap itself so that I could pull it out more and just avoid her body altogether. So in the future, if I make a clothing item like this, I'll probably use fabric simulation and have it actually wrap around her better, but for this prop it looks pretty good without going to that extent. Alright, yeah, it looks like it parented nicely to the body. So now I export the strap and the quiver itself as FBX models, so that I can run them in Substance Painter to give them a leather look. So once I get them exported here, you'll see me jump into Substance Painter. And you'll see why I like Substance Painter so much for material work. Okay, so here I bring in the model. And all I have to do is pick a material, drag it on, and drop it on the object. And then you can play with settings, as you can see here. I wanted to change the color to fit her red leather theme that her clothes already have. So I applied the red color, play with some of the settings on the material, and then export that texture into a folder, which I'll grab inside of Blender in a minute. Alright, so I made that one, so I do the exact same thing for the strap. Looking pretty good. Alright, export those textures as well. Alright, and then back in Blender, to apply the textures, you can select the shader and add all of those texture details into the shader. It's pretty easy once you get the textures made. Right, and then here I'm just showing how I made the rope for the ties on her quiver. I just kind of make a rope texture that follows the shape of the object and give it a yellow color. Alright, and that's what it looks like at the end. So the render for this took about 45 minutes. And here's what it looks like. Well, thanks for watching. Check out the other videos in this series if you'd like to know how I built this.